Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing an updated version of my Gravekeepers. Now this deck is really fun. It's very anti-meta. It's one of the first archetypes ever created in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's really neat. This deck is like the first, I dare say, first anti-meta deck, with Necro Valley being able to prevent your opponent from doing stuff in the graveyard, to playing all sorts of back row hate, to playing anti-monster summons and all sorts of stuff. And plus I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Origins recently, so this deck is kind of like, I had to update this deck, because like, I've been in a very Egyptian-ish spirit. So, without further ado, let's get straight on into this. And side note, guys, fun fact, if you actually Google Gravekeeper deck, which you guys can do in another tab really quick, the first deck profile that comes up is my old Gravekeeper deck, which is kind of cool. It's really cool when you like search a deck and it's like, hey, I'm the first one that pops up. It's really neat. But anyways, guys, let's get into this and see what I'm playing. But before we get into this, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Look at that solemn strike. And hit that bell right down there so you can become part of the notification squad. So let's get straight on into this and see what I'm playing. So first off, we're playing one copy of Assassin's Creed, Gravekeeper's Assailant. Assassin, same difference. One copy of Gravekeeper's Assailant. When this card declares an attack, you can target one monster your opponent controls and changes battle position while you control Necro Valley, which is kind of cool. Then we play one copy of Gravekeeper's Heretic, excuse me. This card on the field is unaffected by all other card effects as long as Necro Valley is on the field, which is kind of cool. Makes it unaffected by everything, which is nice, and it sucks all at once because it doesn't gain the attack off of Necro Valley, which kind of sucks, but hey, whatever. Then we play 3 copies of Gravekeeper Commandant. Commandant is a must-have 3 of in this deck. You can discard it from your hand to the grave to add 1 copy of Necro Valley from your deck to your hand, which is nice because you need to get the field spell as quickly as possible because it's the most important card in the deck. Because you want to get it on the field because it makes your Gravekeepers get bigger, makes them all gain 500 attack, and it does the little neat effects with the grave where it like makes them not be able to move stuff in the grave. Then we play 2 copies of Gravekeeper's Descendant. Gravekeeper's Descendant is you tribute a monster, one other face-up Gravekeeper monster to target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. It's kind of like Hand of the Sixth Samurai, but I mean, it's good. It's really good, and that's why we play 2 copies of it, because it pops like other cards. But the really nice thing about it is that it isn't limited to popping monsters. Like, it can pop 1 card your opponent controls, which is nice. The only bad thing is that it targets. So, whatever though. Then we play 3 copies of Gravekeeper Spy. Gravekeeper Spy is really cool because when it's flip face up, you can target 1 Gravekeeper or special summon 1 Gravekeeper monster from your deck with 1500 or less attack. Usually your target is going to be the next card, which is 3 copies of Gravekeeper's Recruiter. Gravekeeper's Recruiter's effect is that when this card you control is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Gravekeeper monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. So it kind of like rolls you into the next one. And that's kind of what like all of them do, which is nice. They all kind of roll you into the next one that you need. Then we play 1 copy of Gravekeeper's Nobleman. Nobleman's kind of one of the ones I was thinking about bumping up to 2, but I'm just playing 1 right now. When this card you control is destroyed by battle, when an opponent's attacking monster and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Gravekeeper monster from your deck in face down defense position. Now, the reason I was thinking about playing this at 2 was because if you draw Spy, you can set Spy, special summon Nobleman, Nobleman dies, flip into Spy again, face down, your opponent attacks into the Spy, then you flip into the next Nobleman, and then flip into the next Spy. So, like, they flip into one another back and forth, which is nice. And it thins your deck a little bit, but that's why I was thinking about playing a second Nobleman. But for the moment, I'm only going to play 1 because I don't want to draw it and go into that. But usually you're going to open up with Spy, and your target, like I said, for Spy is going to be either Recruiter, Nobleman, or the next one, which is Gravekeeper Shaman. Gravekeeper Shaman, you're never going to tribute summon this. I don't know why they didn't just go ahead and make this a level 4, but they didn't. Maybe because it would have been overpowered. I don't know. This card gains 200 defense for each Gravekeeper monster in your graveyard, and then negate all monster effects that activate in the grave, which is really cool. This totally shuts down Burning Abyss with just this one card. And then, when a Necro Valley is face up on the field, your opponent cannot activate field spell cards. Also, field spells you control cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, which is kind of cool. But that's it for the monsters. The only thing that I've considered actually adding to this deck is Fossil Dyna and maybe Thunder King Ryo, just to be a little bit more anti-meta. But right now, this lineup really, really works because we play a couple of other cards that really make it so this is all you need, kind of thing. This deck, like I said, is very anti-meta. We're going to get into spells, guys, but this deck is very, very anti-meta. So, like, it's all about stunning your opponent and not about really making big monsters. And if you play the deck, you'll understand why. So, then we play a lot of draw cards in this deck with 3 copies of Allure because everything is dark. 3 copies of Pot of Duality because we don't special summon a lot on our turn unless we flip the Gravekeeper Spy on our own turn. Side note, if you have Necro Valley on the field, they attack into Spy. It has 2,500 defense at that point because it gains 500 attack and defense, which is nice. And usually it's not going to get destroyed. Then we play one of the best cards in the entire deck that is still at 1 to this day. That if you control Necro Valley, both players discard any monsters in their hand, which is crazy. Royal Tribute. This card can end a game right off the bat because your opponent's already not playing any traps normally. But if they have to discard all of their, like if you can first turn get this and Necro Valley on the field, this is almost game over because they're not going to have anything to normal summon except for what they top deck. And if you're playing against someone like right now in the meta, like they drop a Hornet Drone, that's all they're going to be able to really do because you've already hit all their monsters. So then we play 2 copies of Gravekeeper Steel. Gravekeeper Steel is target 2 Gravekeeper monsters in your graveyard and add them to their hand. And it can't be negated by Necro Valley. Speaking of Necro Valley, for the last 3 spells, we play 3 copies of Necro Valley. We don't play a heck of a lot of spells. This is a very trap-heavy deck. We play 3 copies of Necro Valley. Necro Valley makes it so all Gravekeeper monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense, and then then cards in either player's graveyard cannot be banished, which is really, really cool. And then negate any card effect that would move a card in the graveyard other than itself to a different place. I mean, it kind of shuts down Burning Abyss, but I mean, if they're going to special summon themselves, it doesn't, which I don't think they do all that often from when I played them. But like, it can really harm them. But that's it for the spells. Let's get into the traps. So the traps is where this deck really excels because you can play just about any anti-meta trap that you want in this deck. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to make a very bold move. And, what do we have a lot in Egypt? We have, quicksand. So, I mean, I went with something that went with the deck. And so we have 3 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole. 3 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole because, not so many people are playing this anymore. It went to 3. I don't know why people aren't playing this because it's really, really, really good. When your opponent, everybody knows what this does. If your opponent summons a monster that has 1500 or more attack, destroy it and then banish it. I mean, why wouldn't you play this? This can hit link monsters. Like you wait for your opponent to link summon a couple of times, and then you just flip this and it's over. Like, I mean, they've already committed so many cards, and you went 1 for like 6 because they've linked into it. Because their Gravekeepers don't get very big, we play 2 copies of Mirror Force and 2 copies of Storming Mirror Force because I really sometimes don't want my opponent to attack into my Gravekeepers, and I need to protect them. So that's why we're playing this. And then I play for my counter traps. This is one of the biggest counter trap decks besides Counter Fairies with 6 in the deck. I play 2 copies of Imperial Tomb of Necro Valley. Some people play 1. I think 2 is the optimal number. 3 gets kind of cloggy. When a spell trap or monster effect is activated while both a Gravekeeper monster and a Necro Valley is on the field, negate the activation if you do destroy it. Period. Solemn Judgment as long as you have Necro Valley and a Gravekeeper. Like, that's all the requirement. You don't have to pay half your life points. It's just that. Then we play a Judgment, a Warning, and 2 strikes. That's it for the deck, guys. I mean, so back row hating. If you got Impertinence, like, you can put it in here. If you don't, I go for more of the budget build with the 3 bottomless. But if you've got Impertinence, play it. I like bottomless though, because like your opponent summons something, is like, nope, not dealing with it. Nope, just banish it now. So anyways, guys, that's it for the deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So here is the card that, since we don't get that big with our Gravekeepers, this is our big beat stick, and that is Utopia the Lightning. The EU just got this because they got Legendary Collection Kaiba, so they can actually play this now. No, they got the special edition so they could play this, and then they got it in Kaiba too. So I'm not in the EU, by the way. I'm in the United States, so I'm just saying it for our friends over there. But we play this because it makes our 5,000 beater. You kind of have it in the extra deck so you can do what you need to do. Then we play the other cards that go along with it, which is 1 Utopia Prime and 1 Utopia. So you can do the Utopia package so it can have 5,000 attack twice. 1 Key Beetle to protect our Necro Valley. 1 Honor Arc to steal our opponent's monsters. 1 Baguska because you can stall with this deck and you don't really care because you play all these back row cards. So, I mean, like, if you want to stall to get back row, do it. If you don't, then just, let your opponent walk into all your traps. 1 copy of Tornado Dragon just in case your opponent, put something on board that you don't want to deal with for back row wise. And 1 Castile because, you might need to bounce something. Then for other big boss monsters, we play a Borreload because you can link up into Borreload, and if you make Borreload in this deck, it is nuts. It is pretty nuts. 1 copy of Summon Sorceress. If you can't play this because you're in the EU, I said this in every video that I play her in until it comes out over there, play Deco Talker. Just play Deco Talker or Trisbania. Don't play Trisbania in here because you play so much back row, but play Deco Talker because it's fine. Don't worry about it. 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn, really good card, really generic, link 3. 1 Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Cerberus. I play those because, they're good. 1 Nightmare Goblin, just, for the extra normal summon, so we can link up. If we get the opportunity to link up, we do. And then 1 Underclock Taker. Underclock Taker, is one of the best link 2s in the whole game besides the Nightmare Monsters. So that's why we're playing it. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. I really enjoyed taking this one. It's a super fun deck. Like, super fun deck. Like I said, anti-meta, totally anti-meta. Really, really fun. Really easy to build. It's kind of expensive until the reprints. Like, they really need to reprint a couple of the cards in this deck, like Recruiter. But other than that, guys, I mean, it's about $50 for the main deck. That's about it. But anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think of this deck profile. I really enjoyed taking this, guys. Don't forget to tell me down in the description or tell me down in the comments down below what videos you'd like to see, like deck profiles. And don't forget to hit that bell right there so you guys can see the next video. And this is DarkArmedDuelist, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.